Chopper 7 is over the scene. 7 Action News reporter Aaron Baskerville is on the scene. And Aaron, what can you tell us so far?
Right now, most of the action is taking place behind me, about a quarter mile into these woods, deep behind me. Still a very active scene right now. State police are out here, the Monroe County Sheriff's Department. I'm going to step out of the way. All we're being told right now is that the body of a woman has been found deep in these woods. I know that there is a crime lab truck out here on scene. The sheriff of Monroe County Sheriff is out here. He's also on scene. Also, a lot of volunteers have been showing up who've been helping search for Chelsea Bruck.
Welcome back to the Top Notch Documentaries YouTube channel. The announcement of a body discovery in Monroe County, Michigan had everyone concerned. A naked female had been found deep within a wooded area, and many in the community already felt as though they knew her identity. A missing persons case had received plenty of media attention in the past 6 months, and volunteers had contributed many hours of search time in order to solve the mystery surrounding a local woman's disappearance. The woman I'm referring to is named Chelsea Bruck, and her disappearance following a Halloween party had everyone worried. Now, 6 months later, answers were beginning to come to light. Today I cover this Halloween murder mystery. Hope you enjoy. Police would quickly learn the unidentified woman's identity, and the body did indeed belong to Chelsea Ellen Bruck. Unfortunately for the family of Chelsea, the traumatising new development would mark a turning point in her case. Chelsea had last been seen leaving a Halloween party just 10 miles away from the wooded area, and just 2 weeks prior to the discovery of her body, her Halloween outfit that she'd last been seen wearing had been picked up by workers at a nearby construction site. It was now official. Chelsea was no longer just a missing person. She had been brutally raped and murdered. The mystery as to who murdered Chelsea takes us back to the date of October 25th, 2014. Every year there's a massive Halloween party at a local property just outside of town, in which everyone attending dresses up in their favourite Halloween outfit to celebrate the spooky season. Old pals meet up to rekindle and share drinks and laughs. Chelsea was going to be attending the party, and she had done in the past, and the normally reserved 22-year-old had decided on dressing as Poison Ivy from the Batman comic series. Chelsea loved anime and Doctor Who, and she was a local girl. She was a server at a restaurant in town, and she longed to become a chef in the future. Chelsea was ready to achieve a culinary degree, which would further boost her toward her passion for cooking, but in the days leading up to the party, she had to prepare. Chelsea had further applied details to her Halloween outfit. She had sewn leaves onto her costume and had a wig to cover up her blonde hair. Chelsea was super excited for the Halloween party, and rightfully so. All of her friends would be there, and the parties never failed to disappoint. The time came, and Chelsea arrived at the party. Her costume turned heads, and everyone liked her choice to show as Poison Ivy. Sadly, not all of the attention was warranted, and one man paid close attention to Chelsea, harbouring sinister intent. Hours passed, and the party was proven to be yet another successful one. Music blared, and Chelsea was enjoying the moment, dancing with friends and posing in photos to one day look back and reminisce on the good night out. Chelsea knew how to have a good night, and she laughed and joked with friends as the night came to a close. It was around 3 AM on October the 26th, and the party officially wrapped up. Chelsea knew that it was time to head on back home, and she was offered rides from her friends, but declined them all. Why Chelsea refused these lifts is anyone's guess, but this decision proved to be a fateful one. Chelsea never made it home, and instantly alarm bells began to signal for her family. Her mother wasn't even aware that she'd attended the party and wouldn't have allowed her to. Within a short space of time, reward money was offered for information about her disappearance. People who had attended the Halloween party were questioned about the night, and the community banded together in a desperate bid to locate Chelsea and help her family find some answers. Chelsea had reportedly last been seen speaking to an unidentified man. However, months would pass, and despite the reward jumping from just under 20 grand to 30,000, little case progression was occurring, and the unnamed man wasn't identified. Investigators theorised that some type of foul play had taken place based on the suspicious nature of Chelsea's disappearance. She'd been walking home along Post Road in Newport, Michigan, and had been in the company of a stranger. Had she taken a ride from him and been abducted, or had she been attacked in what was a pretty remote area and been snuck up on and overpowered in the darkness. Investigators didn't have their answer, but none of the possibilities looked promising when everyone just wanted Chelsea to be brought back home. It was a bad situation, and everyone was sick with fear and negative speculation about where Chelsea could now be. 6 months passed, and by now it was April 24th of 2015. Construction workers had come across Chelsea's Halloween outfit. Her costume was ripped up, as if someone had savagely torn it from her body. Now, 2 weeks later, her body had been discovered. Chelsea had died of blunt force trauma. She had fractures to her face and even a chipped tooth, which indicated that she'd been beaten by her killer. The DNA of an unidentified male was recovered from seminal fluid found on Chelsea's leggings, which had been torn at the crotch region. Investigators now knew that they were looking for a sexual predator, but he wasn't a known offender, and this halted case progression for another year. As Chelsea's family awaited new case developments, the community at large grieved and held a funeral for Chelsea, and everyone understood that a killer was living amongst them. Just who was this guy and where was he? 27-year-old Daniel Clay was a local man. He had a long rap sheet for crimes ranging from burglary, drug possession and unlawful entry. His most recent conviction had been for the home invasion and sexual assault of a lone woman in her home nearby in 2016. As a direct result of this crime, it was mandatory for him to give his DNA, and it would eventually surface as a match to the rape and murder of Chelsea Bruck from 2014. Investigators now had their killer, but they needed more evidence tying Daniel to the nights in question, October 25th and 26th. Daniel, it turned out, had been at the Halloween party. He was now facing additional charges for Chelsea's rape and murder, but denied all knowledge of her and denied any involvement in her rape and murder. Detectives working the case turned up the heat, and the pressure of the situation caused Daniel to eventually crack. He then changed his story and told detectives that he had indeed been aware of Chelsea and had actually been responsible for her death, but he claimed they'd accidentally killed her. Baffled by the bullshit, detectives listened to Daniel's story and heard his perspective of the 26th. Leaving the party, Daniel was driving home when he spotted Chelsea walking down the road. He offered her a lift and she accepted the ride. They chatted for a bit, and Daniel told detectives that they ended up agreeing to have sex and did so in his car. Chelsea wanted to be choked during sex, and Daniel claimed that after just 30 seconds of this choking act, Chelsea stopped breathing. Daniel tried performing CPR to resuscitate Chelsea, but she couldn't be revived. She had died. In a panic, Daniel drove Chelsea to the wooded area and hid her body, terrified of the repercussions and feeling upset about what he'd just done. The evidence found at the crime scene painted a completely different picture to Daniel's story, not to mention the fact that Chelsea had turned down offers for rides from her own friends but taken up on Daniel's offer. Nothing was making sense, and the fact that Chelsea had died from blunt force trauma and not asphyxiation, and let's not forget how she'd somehow died in 30 seconds according to Daniel. Yeah, nobody believed this guy. With insurmountable evidence and Daniel's own admission, it should come as no surprise that he was found guilty of Chelsea's rape and murder and hit with life without parole, plus an additional 5 years for concealment of her body. The fact that Daniel was already in custody for yet another crime of serious nature should indicate the type of danger that he poses to women. For his original crime, he was likely never going to see the light of day again. Thankfully, he's now off the street and is behind bars where he belongs. The story of Chelsea Ellen Bruck is a reminder that you need to stay vigilant about your surroundings at all times. People with bad intent are out there, and certain decisions are necessary in avoiding harm and bad people. It's a shame that Chelsea didn't accept a ride from her friends early that next morning. Unfortunately, this is yet another one of those cases where an innocent person is in the wrong place at the wrong time. Preventing cases like these through awareness is the best case scenario, and remembering Chelsea for the good-hearted person that she was is how I hope her family deal with this tragic situation. Rest in peace to Chelsea Bruck. This has been the Halloween mystery of Chelsea Ellen Bruck. As always, thank you for watching.